ask you guys, like, what challenges, what are the biggest challenges that you think that like musicians or people working with musicians face, or like maybe the challenge that you're most interested in solving?
I mean, so for me personally and the folks that we work with, it's really just about, you know, staying organized and having just kind of a professional outlook with, you know, the folks that you interact with. And so one of the things that we do is just enable people to kind of plug in to our platform and just let the software do the heavy lifting for you. So like let it just manage all of the, you know, back office administrative stuff, and, you know, just really stay focused on the creative piece. And so I think, you know, that's one of the things in the past where, you know, a lot of folks have paid managers and agents and, you know, these people that are really well versed in the business side of things to handle for them, because they just didn't have any idea about that. And I think like there's a new wave of, you know, tools and applications out there that will, you know, enable people that maybe don't have that business upbringing or background to still, you know, be able to stand on their own and, you know, and do that. And so, so I think that's kind of the problem that we're solving, you know, for the creative industry.
Right.
Challenges?
Yeah.
I think the biggest challenge I experienced looking at the way artists use the platform is consistency and being able to, how do I say it? Be able to keep the content fresh all the time. You know, so I'm a venue owner and I do festival, for example, and when I look for information about an artist, typically I have to go to, you know, a ton of different websites. You know, I go to YouTube to get the video, you know, I go to SoundCloud to listen to music. I usually don't go to the band website because they're all different and inconsistent. So I think the challenge is to keep the content fresh all the time and get, you know, basically get you lecturing press kit completed. So we get a good snapshot of you as an artist, you know, your profile and your music. So yeah, the biggest challenge is to keep the content updated and fresh all the time.
Right.
And so that sounds like very basic, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
So we're helping, and like I said earlier, we're pretty much hands-on. So when you're on TuneTrax and you need, for example, support, or if you have any questions, you can talk to us directly, and, you know, we'll help you out whatever steps and whatever, you know, whatever your goal is. I'm pretty sure we can help you out in that process. Or whether it's to book shows and you need be able to send just one single link to you know, town buyers or venue, or, you know, or expand, for example, promoting your show for bands in town. We're exclusively working with bands in town because they have 44 million users, and it sounds like most of our artists is preferred platform today for show listing. So as an example, you know, automatically when you update the show on bands in town, you might not use bands in town platform to promote your show, but automatically that show will be updated into TuneTrax. You won't have to do anything, it will be there. Same thing for YouTube. If you upload a new video on YouTube, you might not use YouTube to promote, you know, your video, but your video will be automatically added to your TuneTrax profile. So it's like and same thing for SoundCloud. It's same thing for every API we integrate through the platform. So it's just saving time. Again, as a town buyer, it helped a lot to get one spot to get all that information instead of going to multiple. And plus, I don't read email with attachments, so it's like, I just don't, you know, it's just too risky, too time consuming. I cannot just download every single, you know, get about 80 booking requests a week. You know, I don't have time to to go to every single one of them. So it's very super helpful to click and get, again, all the information, be able to contact you directly from the platform as well. So artists getting a lot of booking from TuneTrax. We're not a booking software, but we had book this artist, so people can contact you directly. We don't take any cuts. And also, I should mention, it's free to sign up, and you have options. The way we make money is through subscriptions to pay basically for the cost of delivering this content and putting it all together. But and so when you do pay a subscription, you keep 100% of whatever you sell, whatever you do. It goes directly to the artist and not anybody else.
Awesome.
Not TuneTrax.
It's like a public-facing band page.
Yes.
Okay.
And the idea came out when, what is that, 2009, 10, when MySpace went down.
Right.
As a club owner, I was like, oh, fuck, sorry. What am I gonna do? Because as I have a 600 cap venue and 250, and I was like, what am I gonna do? I mean, like, I handle all my promotions, I handle all my booking, I find bands, that when bands wanted to book the venue, they were sending me their MySpace links, and we were connected. I have 15,000, bands on MySpace. So when that was gone, I was like, we need to find solutions. Plus, bands that were coming to the venue, they were struggling, I was struggling, and they were struggling to get good quality content, live content and stuff. So we started like this, like recording, doing the live streaming, using the stage to basically record the artists and whatnot, and then we will add that content onto a platform that became TuneTrax. And I should mention also that TuneTrax is not just for artists. We have about close to 70,000 fans and use the platform every day, and also a bunch of venue, record labels. So it's more like a community. Everybody can sign up and be part of it. So it's not just artists.
Cool. And for Hooplays, like this problem that I was trying to solve, because I'm a musician, is like basically like how do I get it? How do I get bigger? Like how do I get people to come out to my shows? How do I like make this happen and build a reputation? And I was living on Maui, which is a really small island. And I played for a living, and I would get a lot of people come up to me and say, oh, we really loved it, and like it was so great. And I felt like, well, I can't take this praise you're giving me, like how can I take that with me and like help that build some sort of resume? And so what the Hooplays thing is, you could get I would get these people to review me. So now I have a whole bunch of audience reviews, like little tweet-sized reviews, but star ratings that I can go and tell people, well, check this out, these people thought it was good. So that was the challenge that's the challenge I continue to try to solve, is how to get people out to the shows and then to keep the recognition that you get from the show and like leverage that to book other shows. And so we just have some, 15 minutes left. So I think we're gonna open it up for questions.
I used to work for the company called Bandpage, and so that didn't eventually end up succeeding. Were you familiar with that company?
Yes.
Yeah, so what are your impressions of what they did well and didn't do well, and how you can overcome the challenges that eventually toppled Bandpage?
Yeah, unfortunately, Bandpage was great. I think it was a great platform. I think they missed out on the fact that we're on Facebook. They were one of the first ones plugged in on Facebook. I think that really took off. I think it was 2009. But at the same time, that basically MySpace, disappeared. And so I think it was a great platform. I like the integration of Facebook. Unfortunately, when Facebook decided to open it up to others, that kind of like lost the momentum.
Yep.
That's my explanation, at least.
That was the biggest kind of like downturn in the
Right.
sort of users graph. Then they had to rebuild, and I came in during the rebuilding process. But I think that one of the kind of inherent challenges in the effort to unify all the platforms is like, the platforms don't want to be unified. I mean, like YouTube wants to be the place, they want to be the place that where you go. Facebook wants to be the place where you go, and you're trying to unify them, which is so noble, but eventually you hit up against these giants in industry, and I'm wondering, like, how is it like a matter of reframing the problem, or?
So the problem still exists, it's real. Again, for an artist perspective, we're very artist-centric, the platform itself. And so it's, getting, again, all your data, all your content to one spot. There's no many. There's also Bandcamp does a good job at it. It's pretty limited to audio. So all those different sites, I mean, we work with Vimeo and YouTube and SoundCloud and Bands and Sound. So yeah, artists will be on those different platforms, which is great. I think you should be everywhere if you can. But at the same time, you need a spot, and it's great to have a website. If you have a website, that's fantastic, but it's so expensive to promote a website, promote yourself through the website. So
And they're all different, as you said, so.
What's
And they're all different, websites are all different.
Yeah, they're all different
formats, so-
websites, so consistency as far as, talent buying, it's a big aspect of it. We're getting constantly overwhelming positive feedback from venue or festival producers and stuff that use the platform to discover artists. And one of the things they appreciate the most is having, again, going to the sites and you get everything in one spot. You don't have to go. So we leveraging those networks, but we're not relying on any of them. We're just, we're pretty much open and transparent about, but collecting that data and putting it into one spot, I think is critical. That's what, Bandcamp does, that's what Real Nation does, different level, band page, MySpace we're doing. I know, I was a big fan of MySpace, sorry. I thought it was like, and also the other aspect is community. Let's not forget, it all starts with music.
Yeah.
And the community is our focus on TuneTrax, and that's why I also work with Balanced Breakfast, been almost 2 years out of Reno, where I live, because really, Stefan and being able to build this, fantastic network and the sense of community in the music industry, which is lacking in a lot of platforms. You say, you might use this platform or the other one, but you don't necessarily, as an artist, you don't feel like you're part of a community or you're part of something bigger than just yourself or your music. You want to be, and also be able to network. So I have artists that use the platform to do their tour, because they can look at, 30 different music genres and I don't know how many cities, but they can go to our Gross artist page and then choose per genre or per city, and it will tell you. So they use the platform to contact the band directly and say, hey, you scratch my back, and you put me a show in Austin, I'll get you, in San Francisco, and so they've been very successful using the platform. Again, we don't take any cuts, we don't charge anything for that. Just, again, I think the biggest challenge too is using it, use the tools, because if you don't use it, I think some artists are under the impression that, those sites are gonna do something for you, and they're not. YouTube are not doing anything for you. No one. But if you use the tools, it's really empowering you to get, more fans, more people attending your shows, more play on your music or videos and whatnot. So I would encourage people to actually use the tools that they have access to.
And just to comment on the community thing, I think one thing that I've learned as a musician is like when you're in an industry like music, which is so the pool of money feels so small, and it feels like everyone's trying to get this elusive success, and you feel like it makes you kind of zero sum in your thinking. But the longer I've been a musician, the more I realize the more people you meet, the more other musicians you play with and you network with and you just become friends with, and the more you try to lift like other people up, other musicians up in your community, the more benefits you get, the more opportunities you get. And maybe that's, you know, I'm kind of an introverted person, so maybe that's obvious to the extroverts in the room, but just realizing that socializing with other musicians is just like one of the biggest things you can do for yourself. Yeah, go ahead.
So I had a quick question for, I guess, the three of you guys. It really just pertains to like geographic presence. Like we're from Austin. I don't know if people in Austin are using these services. So if we're on it, I guess that's my question. Is
it in Austin? Okay.
Yeah, well, not just Austin.
They're from Austin and they use the platform.
Oh, awesome.
We're gonna do it's a really cool platform. I think it will become a lot easier for if you're trying to book a show, just to send that link with all the information on there, just to visit, because we have heard from a lot of like industry people that they don't want to have, you know, the song attached, like all of that. They want to just go one place and be able to listen to everything. And sometimes on the website, you know, if you don't have it the right way, that means they have to click different things, all that kind of stuff. But the site itself, it's very well organized and very easy, and it's good, and you can also connect with other people that are in the same, like, hey, you know, I want to look up bands that are like our same style. Maybe they can come to Austin, or we can go, you know, wherever it is. So I really like their site. We're about to update it and add more photos to
Yeah,
it.
I'm excited. As an example, they will be able to, they're going to be releasing a single next month. Is that next month?
Yes,
This month, okay. So as an example, they'll be able to upload all their content. Again, keep it fresh, consistency, organized is a big thing too. So.
Is that kind of the same case with the Hooplays?
So Hooplays is, I started on Maui and I just soft launched it in San Francisco in May, so I'm just still building here. And so it's not in Austin yet, unless you want to bring it there, because it's grassroots.
Yes.
You want to partner with us? It sounds
Would
awesome.
love to, yeah. All that it requires is for people to sign up and add their shows. Yeah.
And I also should mention, we're working together on in Austin with Texas Indie Fest.
Yes.
Yeah.
So TuneTrax is involved as a promotional partner with festival producers that looking to use the platform as a submission platform. So artists create, they have an electronic press kit already. They want book us South by Southwest or other festival.
Kind of like a Sonic Bids.
Kind of Sonic Bid, but we have a completely different approach than they do. But it's kind of Sonic Bids. It sounds like it, but it's not. But the ultimate goal is basically get you booked to the showcases or the festival you want to play.
And Gigwell it's global or it's North American? Or?
Yeah, we're in 52 countries.
Okay.
So yeah, everywhere.
And obviously blockchain. And nowhere.
I have a question about Gigwell. Is Gigwell, do you have like a payment gateway at the back end so that
Yeah.
everything is connected, like payments in and out are connected?
That's right. Yeah. So we handle all the payments between the buyer and the agency or the artist. So just everything from initial booking requests to electronic contracting, electronic invoicing, electronic payments, and then all of the advancing, like pushing out all of the logistics detail for that gig. If there's any flights or hotels or load in sound check, communicating all those details with the artists or artists that are being booked.
And do you use like third-party payment platforms like PayPal?
Yeah, we integrate with Stripe and PayPal currently, and then we're actually exploring blockchain technologies for distributed payments, getting payments directly from the buyer, potentially across international borders, and then paying the agent, paying the artist, all in one transaction. So.
Do you charge a license fee for the service, like access to the platform?
Yeah.
Or do you take a cut on the transfer?
Both. So we charge a monthly subscription for the booking agency to use all the software tools. And then when talent buyers book artists through it, we take a small transaction fee for any booking deposit or flight buyout or whatever payments are exchanging hands.
Very much.
Thanks.
I think this is more a question for Elaine and Rémi, but I'm not a musician quite yet, but I am a photographer. Is it possible to use y'all sites to find people to shoot with, or is that more just like among musicians?
Hooplays, no. I mean, yeah, Hooplays, it's basically just finding musicians and venues. So, yeah.
So, sorry, what was the question?
I'm a photographer, and it seems like you guys are kind of like on your normal social media, not quite, but like kind of. So, I mean, is it possible to use y'all sites to find people that I can shoot, or is that more just
Yes.
like finding other musicians?
Yes, yeah, actually we got quite a bit of people, photographer that's or video, and they use the site to contact directly artists.
Do you mean finding artists to shoot or finding other photographers?
No, finding artists.
Finding artists,
Oh,
for
so yes.
example. Yeah. So you'll go in Austin as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a bunch of artists in Austin. Moonray is one of them.
Yes.
So you'll go to the browse artist page and you click on Austin and you have a complete listing of all bands in Austin.
Awesome.
And feel free to contact them directly.
That's so cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you want to find photographers, you can use the Balance Breakfast app.
That's right.
Audience plug.
So I think we have time for maybe one more question. If anyone has a question. Yeah?
Kind of general question. So I get that for blockchain and TuneTrax, it's kind of to cut out the middleman a bit and kind of put the artist in more direct contact with potential fans. But how do you guys generate revenue? I mean, for all the bloodsuckers out there are always, trying to get the money from the artist. So how do you guys kind of keep your vision alive?
So I mentioned subscription, so it's free for you to sign up. If you don't need to be featured, if you don't need to use all these plugins and stuff. The way we make money is through subscription. But we make it super affordable. It's like first subscription is $49 for all year. You pay $49 and you can use the platform as much as you want, and that's it. And you keep 100% of the music and 100% of control, the copyrights, and also revenue. So we make money from charging you $49 a year to support the platform and to keep it going.
And for an artist who's kind of just going to start putting music out there, like Spotify and stuff, is this kind of like a realistic thing for somebody who doesn't have clout just yet in the industry? Or is it kind of like, you need more of the bigger...
It's like when you do a release, I'm always like struggling with artists that want to release a new album and they wait until the last minute, they have something in mind that says, I'm gonna release on June 30th, and you can't find that music until June 30th. I mean, it's just silly because that's the nature of the internet doesn't work that way. The nature of network doesn't work that way. So if you're just starting, you start creating a profile. So you start you start being part of this community, and you can initiate, contact with maybe other artists in your area, whatever city you live in. So it's not just about you and your music, it's also, be able to be exposed to other artists and networking with them as well, which is one of the biggest, my experience, biggest benefits of artists networking with each other, and that's most of the time that's the way they get gigs, today. It's not just using the platform to send out their press kit, but it's also networking with others, and so you can do that. So it's not like you don't need to have everything ready to do to start. You got to start somewhere, and I think it's a good place to start. Yeah.
So I think we're out of time, but we're going to be here. If you want to come talk to us, please do come and say hi, and we'd love to meet you and hear what you're into. And yeah.
Thank you.